Hi, how are you? How have you been? So good to be back. So good to be with you. It's that dependable Wednesday feeling when I know you're here with me. How have you been? All well? Still full of bubbles and energy? Tell me what your life has been like. I know people are getting into a rhythm now. We're understanding, no matter where we live, that we're getting used to the new normal. Have you sidestepped? Have you retrained? Look, it's a seriously stressful time for all of us, but it's an opportunity for us to grow and thrive and stand out and be outstanding. Remember that phrase? Stand out and be outstanding. How is your health? Your health is your wealth. So I had salad for breakfast. You'd be very happy to know. I also hear that bacon is a vegetable, so I've been eating a lot of that. Um, so look, the tools I've been using to stay healthy have been meditation, walks, Zumba, cooking, getting stuck into a really good documentary, and a little bit of housewives, perhaps. Don't tell anyone. Look, I should introduce myself. Hello. My name is Yana Groves. I produce unscripted formats. I've worked with some of the greatest production companies like Warner Brothers, Endemol Shine, Fremantle, WTFN, and many, many more, and the BBC too. I'm also a celebrated camel whisperer. True story. Why am I chatting to you? Why are we doing the Facebook Live? Well, it started all one day. Oh, it was a cold, dark, and stormy night. No, that's not how it started. It started because COVID hit. A global pandemic took hold and scared the bejeebies out of all of us. And I felt it was the best thing to do. Just get on that Facebook Live and start gabbing and try and connect everybody and bring us together so we know we are not alone. And the feedback that we've had, don't forget we had series 1, yeah? 10 episodes of series 1, and the feedback we've had has been exceptional. And it's just about creating that community. It's about knowing what we need, when we need it, how we need it, and learning what this new normal is. So I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you keep supporting because it really helps. This is a terrifying thing for me to do. Those who know me know that this is terrifying, but I'm doing it because I know how valuable it can be to hear from these industry gurus. So look, what have we got coming up? Speaking of industry gurus, we have network executive turned software CEO, Karen Dewey. We'll be talking pivoting from TV to tech, creative innovation, and how to work smarter, entering the TV sphere. And we will be talking what you need to do to get up to your next level in the industry. She's fantastic. Look, before we get to Karen Dewey, my esteemed guest, I want to talk a little bit about some of the jobs that have been advertised. Have you seen these gigs? 9 are looking for field producers, broadcast engineers. They're runners that have gigs ready to go. So get your CVs ready, get them in. Junior production coordinators. I know that Eureka are on the hunt. Junior video editors wanted, etc., etc. So there's quite a bit going on, people. Don't lose faith. Please don't lose faith. Please don't lose faith. It's all good. Right. So also there are a couple of gigs going for shooter producers. I'll tell you about our course later. Well, I'll remind you now. Tomorrow and Friday, we've got a 2-hour course. That's tomorrow and Friday is our upskill. Next week, on the 31st of July, is the shooter producer course. Shooter producer course is 1 day. Invaluable. Andre Evis, the DOP, is going to be overseeing that and giving us all the tools we need. So it's all about upskilling, pivoting, upskilling. Okay, I'm rambling today. I don't know why. Look, I also want to talk about some of the money that's coming into our industry or that is promised to our industry. Quite controversial, but there is apparently a $400 million government incentive fund going to the arts. Let's see how we go with that. It sounds like good news, but I know that there's a little bit of controversy about how that can be used and whether it really benefits small production companies or not. So let's keep our eyes out on that. Also, we're talking about networks taking a bit of a hit and commercial revenue being down. So again, we know the industry's changing and we know we have to change with it. Now, what have we talked to so far? Well, it's only episode 1 of series 2. We spoke to executive producer Virginia Hodgson, a founding mother of Aussie TV. What a pleasure it was to have her with us. Next week, Osher Ginsburg. He's a love maker. He's a presenter of the Bachelor franchise and also a guy with a pretty interesting story. So stay tuned. Join us next week. It's going to be awesome. But anyway, enough of that. Let's live in the now. I want to talk to our very special guest. She's a former exec who's headed up factual and unscripted for a number of production companies and networks. SBS, ABC, ITV, Channel 9, Channel 7. And all that know-how has primed her and perfectly positioned her for her current endeavor, which is a CEO and founder of Lumi Media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Karen Dewey.
Oh, the applause is beautiful. Thank you so much. I don't know whether I prefer to be introduced as the CEO of Lumi Media or as a lovemaker, as you That's a nice intro.
You are also a lovemaker, actually. You
Indeed.
have made some love, right?
I have indeed made love. It's one of the great privileges of being a television producer.
And you know, that phrase for me never gets old. So you know, forgive us, everybody, forgive us. Karen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very pleased to be here. I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. It literally has been so exceptional to have a platform for people to hear from and meet and see those in incredible positions who can impart their information to us. So, and I think we need this support more than ever. So it's hats off to you for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Tell me, how has life been for you in this crazy time?
It has been a crazy time. I think it's been a time for reassessment. I think I have friends who call me Pollyanna. That's my nickname. So I'm very much about the silver lining on this cloud. And I think we've found there have been lots of silver linings. And one of the biggest ones, I think, has been the opportunity to pull back a little bit. I think life got a bit fast and things got a bit too busy. And we all started racing around. I was in London at the end of last year and just moving through the subway, moving through the airports, moving through the traffic, I just thought something's got to give. We just need to slow things down a bit. We just need to assess what we want in our lives and what we no longer need. And I think that's the silver lining on the COVID-19 cloud. There are lots and lots of terrible things, of course, and people are really having to find new ways of staying alive, basically, and new ways of working. And which is, every challenge is an opportunity.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you. If we have that mindset, then surely we'll find ways to thrive, right?
Yes, and I think we will. And you're seeing it already. You're seeing it left, right, and centre. You see people finding ways to thrive and pivoting and changing the way they do things and adjusting. And it is the new normal. We don't know how long it's going to go on for, but I hope that we take some of the lessons learned. And those lessons are really, they're things I'm really passionate about. Like, people can work from home. Working from home, you don't, just because somebody works from home definitely does not mean that they're not working. As we're now seeing evidenced, in fact, people can work really super effectively from home. They can work super effectively if you give them a life balance. If you allow them trust and responsibility and flexibility, your workers will reward you with devotion and probably work longer hours. We found our whole team are working longer hours for us, even though we've been hit by COVID just like everybody else. So we're not necessarily able to support them in all those working hours, but they've just all turned around and said, we're in here. And they love the flexibility of working for a software company, and we're trying to bring that flexibility to everybody else.
Yeah. And well, I think we should probably explain what Lumi Media is, because it's pretty damn amazing and quite exciting.
It is exciting. We're very excited. I'm particularly proud of where we're at now. So as you said, I'm a television producer by trade. I would always say I'm a writer. I went into television producing because I love asking questions. Like you, Yana, I know the love of that, curiosity and asking everybody everything. Sometimes I ask people questions I really shouldn't be asking. But that's why I went into television in the first place. And, through the years, you move through different genres of television, through live television, then through to entertainment. And then when the great big genre of reality television arrived, through Big Brother and Survivor and all those shows, I was moving through them all, and you reach a certain position when you've been working for some time. And I basically looked around. I don't know why, because I'm not a very techie person, but perhaps I tend to find the shortest route from A to B. Not geographically, I'm hopeless at that, but certainly in terms of ideas and execution. And I was always such a big believer in that old motto: if it's not on the screen, it's not on the screen. Don't bother with it. Don't mess around with stuff that you don't need to mess around with if it's not making your product better, because your product is everything.
Yeah.
And I had a simple idea, and that was to digitize the cards that we've all used for years, that have used all over the world, where you start building the building blocks of your project. So whatever your project is, whether it be stories or challenges or cast or episodes or whatever it is that you're pulling together. And the big idea, or the simple idea, was digitize those cards. And I think because I'm not techie, I had no idea what a huge thing I was asking for. So I naively said, hey, wouldn't this be great? And I took it to a software architect I happen to know, who happens to be my big brother. And Lumi was born. And that was nearly 5 years ago now. And along the road, we looked for CEOs and we talked to people, and we kept thinking, until somebody turned around and said to me, you have to be the CEO. I said, I can't be the CEO of a software company. I'm a television producer. They said, no, but that's the point. The point is
what it is.
That this is what you're passionate about. You understand this business. You care about this business. You care about the people working in this business. This idea was organic. You didn't go into this. Like, there's a lot of software people, we see all the multimillionaires who go into software. A lot of them have gone in chasing money or trying to find a problem to solve. And I guess because we came at this very organically, I just went, there must be a better way of us doing this.
It comes out of passion, right? Out of something to be true in flow. When you're in flow and you can see the vision, it happens.
And out of respect for the fact that I work in an industry where full of very resourceful, very effective, very creative people. We have a joke amongst our team that there's nothing a television producer can't do, because producers just get thrown into. It is. It's true. I mean, we probably can't perform heart surgery. Let's be honest. But
maybe.
But the point, I think that was my frustration. It was like, we're all these resourceful, effective people pulling together so many different moving pieces, the who and the what and the when and the where and the why of all these projects, and everything's changing by the minute. And we're a freelance industry, so you suddenly have to fire your team up within, 2 minutes. So So it was frustrating to think we don't have any tools. We're still stuck with documents and spreadsheets and emails. Why
Notebooks.
don't we
I
have
have
any tools?
hundreds and thousands of notebooks. Hundreds and thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of notebooks that get lost and that you're working on or I'm working on, but they're not shared. And, we work in an industry where the way you do your job affects the way I do my job. We collaborate naturally. We have to, and so we're part of busy teams. And the more you can help ignite, I guess, spark ideas from other members in your team, or build on each other's work and build on each other's ideas and use all those brains and skills and all the ideas of your entire team, the better off we'll all be. So that's where we started. And, it's been a roller coaster ride since then.
And do you miss making telly?
Do you know, I don't even think that I stopped making telly. Bizarrely, someone once called me and said, I hear you're producing producers these days. That's a way of saying it. But
we're unproducible, dagnammit. How dare you?
You're building a platform that helps producers produce and helps directors direct. So I feel like I'm still, as soon as a new team comes on board, our whole front of house team, we call them. It's not a software phrase. It's probably a television production phrase. But our whole front of house team are all television producers. I've poached and picked them. Thankfully, we're delighted to say. But so our first job is really to assess what kind of team are you, what thing are you trying to make. We understand, we can understand when you describe to us how you make it. And then, so I still feel like I'm sort of in television. I don't feel like I changed really.
Well, I have to say, I mean, from my perspective, my job is addictive. And I don't know if I will ever be able to leave it entirely. It's in my blood. It's who I am, I feel. Do you have the same feeling?
I think that there's no question that the thing I've always loved about my job is that you spend a lot of time talking to passionate people. So I don't care what you're passionate about, but if you're passionate about something, you're interesting. So, anything at all, even from my favorite job was as a researcher, which was one of my first jobs, just because you spend all day long chatting to people, talking to people. What do you do? Why do you do it? Well, how does it work? And hearing people's passion, it's a really lovely way to live. That's why, I always say my best advice to anybody going into production is never do your job you hate, because there are so many jobs to love in television that every time you do a job, it really should be, you never want to be going on a Sunday night, oh, crikey, work's back tomorrow morning. You want to be going Sunday night, wow, it's Monday tomorrow. And I know that sounds cheesy, but I really believe, as you're saying, that I always loved going to work.
And I think there's something very unusual about our industry in that it has to invoke that passion. You cannot be in this industry if you don't have that passion or fire.
Yep.
And as you were saying, the opportunity to learn new things,
yep.
you become, it's like looking into specialist areas. If you're doing a cooking show, how much do you learn?
Yeah.
You're traveling the world. You might be doing, a piece about farming or whatever it might be. I think it just grows your mind and your empathy and understanding for humanity.
Understanding for humanity and telling people stories, understanding characters. That's the other thing. I always thought I'd prefer a stupid person from a boring person. It's really... There is, you can talk to people about anything. That's why one of my favorite things was always casting reality shows where you just get this procession of people. Who are you? They always think we're looking for something in particular, but we're not, are we? We're looking for you. We're looking for people who are authentically themselves, and that is interesting. We're not looking for the categorized something. We're looking for people who are really personalities in their own right.
It's interesting you're talking about this now. I've just done a little workshop for a dance school in Canberra, and it was about building their confidence and getting them ready for casting and projecting themselves and giving that sort of confidence when they either walk into a room for an interview or for an on-screen audition. And literally word for word, those are the things I've been sharing with them. And also about being extraordinary through being ordinary.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being extraordinary through being ordinary.
Yeah. And how lucky are we to meet those people? And I think, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely the sort of person that loves meeting people. And
Yes.
I think, yeah, and I tend to go down the rabbit hole quite quickly just to learn about them and where they're from. And it just fascinates me.
Which doesn't mean being an extrovert either. And I think that's often a misnomer. I wouldn't consider myself an extrovert at all. I just love, so I'm not great in a room full of strangers, but one-on-one with people, I just could talk. I just ask questions. It's just, I'm really interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I'd love to know more about the kinds of shows you've worked on and what you loved the most. What got your juices flowing?
Okay, I loved working in live television. You know, you've worked in live television. There is nothing like the buzz of, aside the fact that there is nothing to be done. So you can't sit down at the end and go, oh, let's fix that, because it's done.
You might run through it in your head over and over again, but you can't fix it.
That's right. So when you finish, you go, you know, well, we did our best, or wow, that was. But I was a supervising producer of a big live show, and it was like having my deck of cards ready every morning before I started the show. It was like, have I got all my things up my sleeve? What am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if that happens? Yeah. So then to feel like you're in that high performance sort of role where, wow, it's all happening, and, you know, am I going to be able to respond quickly enough, and have we done the right thing? Loved live television. And in fact, many of my closest friends are, because those teams pull together so tightly, you know, everybody will work whatever hours is necessary to get the job done. Everybody's on hand when they need to be on hand. You know, there's nothing like, you don't go, 5 seconds till we roll, and everyone goes, oh, give me another 10 minutes. You go, no, it's 5 seconds till we roll. Get on set. So that you've got to be ready and you've got to be going. And so I think it brings those teams together. So there's nothing like the teamwork of a live team. And then, as I said, I love the personalities of casting, particularly any show that has a sort of psych aspect, you know, just simple stuff like watching someone in a reality show apologize authentically to somebody. You know, what's in an apology? How do you gracefully accept an apology? Watching boys talk to girls, or watching girls talk to boys in a real setting, you know. So although there's lots of manipulation in the greenhouse, I guess, that we put reality show contestants in, often in most shows, and certainly on all the ones I've worked on, there isn't manipulation in the way relationships evolve. That's something we can put you in a room together. How you respond to that and what happens between two people or five people, totally up to the characters themselves. And that's I really love the way that delivers on, because people sit at home, well, I do anyway, and I always imagined the audience is sitting at home going, wow, what would I have done in that situation? And this can be really empowering, I think, for people to go, oh, I think I might have. I remember we did a restaurant show, talking about restaurant shows. I knew nothing about restaurants. I still don't know a whole lot about restaurants, but I know a bit more about producing restaurant shows. But there was a guy in one of the restaurant shows who blew up at a chef. He had every right to blow up at the chef, but he blew up in a way that he thought was perfectly reasonable, that we all thought, wow, you went hard then. When he saw the vision back, he went, oh, I had no idea that I looked like that. I had no idea that I sounded so aggressive. I had no idea that I didn't let him speak. I didn't let him up. And it was really, and I thought, well, the audience are thinking the same thing. The audience are thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. It was a real learning moment.
And also, we sit there and we shout at the telly and we we jeer people on and we criticize people too. But
Much.
like
Way
you, yes, and like you, I love the nuances of the human condition. Being in a control room and watching something play out and knowing that it's genuine emotion, for me, is the reason why I do what I do.
Oh, yes. There are countless edits where where the joke is, Karen, are we going to be able to play this cut without you crying? Because, you can genuinely move people and that's it's the loveliest part of our job.
Yeah, it really is.
Condition.
We're connective. That's what we do. We connect people. We tell stories, and and it doesn't really matter what the genre of the show we're creating is, whether it's a travel show or a glass blowing show. It's about the human condition and how we interact and deal with scenarios.
It's all about telling stories. You look at MasterChef making a whole nation care whether a souffle rises or falls. Who would ever have imagined we could do that? But that's just good storytelling. Showing me that someone else cares makes me care. So you show me why this is important to her, that her souffle rises or falls, and I'll care.
And therein is the story arc. It's that motivation that we're always looking for in story, in people's backstories and what they're doing. Why are they on the show? Why do we care to watch them? So the motivation.
Yes.
Very much so. Karen, can you believe that half an hour's gone already?
I know.
I was going to ask you my favourite question, which was, please tell me that Lumi began in a garage. Because all the best software companies do, don't they?
All the best software companies begin in a garage where a sibling founding team, which is what we are, move in with their mum and dad, move back home, move into the garage and live on nothing.
Yes.
We didn't quite do that. We've got children of our own. We've got partners who couldn't move back into mum and dad's house. No, we didn't make it in a garage. We've done all sorts of things that make us typical software founders. We've also done all sorts of things that make us very, very not typical software founders. I could barely operate my laptop when we started. And so I could see the vision of what we were trying to do. I was passionate about, enabling teams to work better together and enabling teams to produce and plan better. But the actual bits of the tech I had no idea about. So I've been on a very steep learning curve, which I've thoroughly loved because, as we've just said, that's what life's all about, learning. And so I would say I'm a much more comfortable software CEO today than I was when I first started, which is nice. I don't think I've said that out loud. It's a nice thing to think that I've got to that stage. And that people have supported me and allowed me to get to that stage has been a really nice thing because I'm bringing all my experience. And it's nice to know that, because I'm not in my 20s, obviously, and it's nice to know that as you're growing your knowledge base, that you're using that knowledge base and that we're able to then share and impart knowledge through to everybody coming up through the ranks. And because there will be a content explosion at the end of this. I'm certain of it. Well,
this is it. Yeah, we were hearing it every single week.
Well, you've got a shutdown where the whole world is not able, this sudden shutdown and nobody can make content. And by the same token, you've got the whole world going home and vacuuming up everything that's ever been made before. Yes, so there will be content made. This industry will survive and thrive. We're just going to find new and better ways of working. We're going to make more for less money. And, there's very exciting things on the horizon.
Well, I think you are such an exemplary example, a case study of someone taking the bull by the horns, running with it and smashing it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And it's so important for us to see these wonderful growths and successes in our industry, because it's easy to get, jaded and feel like there's no hope here. I'm hearing of so many people starting to think differently, to use the skills that they have and think differently about how they can contribute to the industry.
Yes. And there's lots of things we can't control. So just control the way we think about them and the way we feel about them, and control what we're going to do about them. That's what you can control, what we do.
Let's fix it. Something's broken. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that there are a couple of comments, which is wonderful. We have Marie Antoinette is saying, "You are a hashtag boss goals, Karen." So great to hear of a workplace that truly practices work-life balance. Which is great to hear. And Rachel Falecki says, "Too right."
That's our beautiful Rachel Falecki.
Oh, she works with you. Fantastic. Excellent.
Yes.
Deb Davis, it's great to be able to lean on your creative and any department when it comes to resources. And it is about those resources, and I think that's what you're bringing together and making accessible.
Yes, bringing everybody together in one place.
Yeah, and that's really, really important. We've also got a comment from Julie who says, "Such an inspiration for all of us." And I totally, absolutely, 150% agree.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel like I've got a spring in my step now, and I can take on the world and the rest of the week.
You can.
Thank you, Karen Dewey. You marvelous, marvelous woman. Take care of yourself. And thank you so much. That was the very beautiful, skilled, exceptional Karen Dewey, executive producer turned CEO of Lumi Media. What an inspiration. Thank you so much for your comments too. Keep them coming, and I'll make sure that she sees them all. Okay? I'll make sure she sees them all. So we're coming to the end. Oh my gosh, I've gone over again. It's just because I like talking to you. I love hanging out with you, right? Just excuse, but I hope you don't have to be anywhere important. All right, I'll wrap up. Look, just remember, be prepared, be informed, upskill, upskill, upskill. Guess what? I mentioned earlier about our online TV producer upskill course. That's happening tomorrow. I don't know why I'm doing that. Tomorrow and Friday from 2 till 4. It's online. So all you need to do is go to Eventbrite. We've got the link in Facebook. Just have a click, get a ticket, sit on your sofa in your PJs. Wear nothing underneath if you don't want to. It's absolutely fine. And we will be talking to Bloomtime Media Mentor, Natalie Long, executive producer of hundreds of shows. But she, in particular, the Bachelor franchise, but she's worked on The Voice, Farmer Wants a Wife, Australia's Got Talent, Housewives of Sydney. Literally, she's done it. You name it, she's done it. And she's here to talk to us and talk with us about how to conduct the perfect interview, the keys to casting, story development. Why would you miss this, right? Tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You don't need to be, literally, if you are in Abu Dhabi right now, come and get yourself a Zoom login, and we'll give you a little course. It is the upskilling. It's the producer upskill course. Following Friday, we have shooter producer course. It's a one-day course. I realized that there's a huge need for this. This is why I set it up. So I promise I'm going to run this as often as I possibly can. Try and get in now, though, because the numbers are seriously limited because of COVID. And this is an in-person course in Sydney. I've literally got 7 spots. I'm not joking, 7 spots. So the quicker you get in there, the quicker we can get you in there. All right? And enough of the pitch. Enough of the pitch. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, next week, Osher Ginsburg, we hope. TV presenter, love maker, and a man with one hell of a story. interesting man. Don't miss that. If you have any questions, you want to get in touch, you're bored, you're frustrated, you've had enough, you're excited, send me a message, info@bloomtimemedia.com, or go to our website, bloomtimemedia.com. Drop me a message. Also, we have a YouTube channel. Do you remember I said we had 5 followers? I haven't checked. We may have 6 now. Perhaps you'd like to make it 7. So that's the Bloomtime Media YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Karen Dewey, for your invaluable time. Tara Johnson, BTM production assistant. Our supporters who keep coming back every week and making us feel like what we're doing is worth it. Means the world to us. To my family and friends abroad, I haven't said a big thank you to you, but hello and thank you. And I hope you're smiling. I hope you're okay. Mum, Becky, Ollie, all my best friends in England, around the world, US, Africa. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for your support. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.